Hi everybody, I hope you all had a wonderful Purim. Today is Shushan Purim as we get ready for this week's portion, Parshat Tzav, the second portion of Chumash Vayikra, the book of Leviticus. Parshat Tzav has many interesting types of sacrifices, including the Karban Toida. The Karban Toida is a thanksgiving offering, and it's a reminder about the importance of gratitude that we need to have. But today we're going to focus on something else. There's an interesting law that the Kohen, the priest, when he comes in, one of the first things he needs to do is take the ashes, some of the ashes off the altar. And the question is, what's the significance of that? And there are many lessons, but I'd like to focus on one. The very holy and special Rabbi Shapiro has a beautiful insight, and he says the following idea. If you put ashes on top of coals or a flame, it puts it out. And the symbolism of taking the ashes off the altar is to remind us not to extinguish our inner spark. And that's an important idea that many of us don't even know we have. There's a concept, I'll say it in Yiddish, called the Pintel Yid, the little spark of holiness within each and every one of us that's in our soul that can never, ever be extinguished. But, unfortunately, it can be covered. It can be covered by our not listening to the spiritual voice within ourselves, the positive inclination. It can be covered by being so busy I don't have time to do any good things. It can be covered by character flaws like anger. We each have that spiritual spark, and we need to know that it's there. And on the contrary, like any spark, if you want to make a barbecue, you want to build a fire when you're going camping, you need to blow on it and enhance it and make the fire glow. But we each have that spark, and we can find it many times in surprising manners. We can find it when we have somebody who maybe wasn't raised religious at all, and somehow they're looking for meaning, for depth, and in spite of the challenges, they're drawn to Judaism, and they're drawn to figuring out what they can do more, and they get more involved in Judaism and take on observance and take on positive commandments, and yes, even restrictions of what they can't do, and they start studying, and the little spark turns into a raging flame of holiness. So we need to be cognizant of that special spark within us, and we need to do the things not to extinguish it, or at least to cover it, and that's the study of Torah, and learning, and prayer, and doing acts of loving kindness. And those things enhance our spark to make it more viable and more visible for us to be able to get in touch with it. And this is an important, beautiful idea for us to work on. There's a beautiful story about a man who had a wedding, and he got home very late, and he was very tired, and he was about to go to sleep and realized, I didn't do evening services. Now, he could do evening services on his own, but ideally it's better to do with a minyan, with a quorum of 10 men. So he went to a shul in Yerushalayim called Zircha Moshe, which is what in the vernacular is called a minyan factory, which means that people come from all over Jerusalem if they need a place to pray. It's not like many synagogues have one time for the afternoon service and one time for the evening service and one time for the morning service, or maybe two times. Some of these shuls in major metropolitan areas have people coming all the time, and every 15 or 20 minutes they have, every half an hour, whatever it is, they have more people coming, and they make a new quorum and they make a new minyan. So he figured it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know if I'll get, but I'll try. And he comes in, he sees, unfortunately, it's empty. But he had a brilliant idea. He called the Jewish taxi companies in Jerusalem, and he said, I need 9 taxis. They said, are you kidding? What do you need 9 taxis for? No. Come to the Zircha Moshe Shul, I need 9 taxis. Well, we only have 5 available. Okay, send 5. He called another company, they sent 4, and he had 9. And together with him, there was 10. And the taxi drivers all pull up to the shul and said, okay, who's going with us? He says, no, you don't have to go anything. Turn on your meters and come inside the synagogue. And he had 9 plus 1, he had 10 people, I said, we're going to do the evening service. I wanted to have a minyan. I wanted to have a quorum to be able to do it. And he showed everybody the siddur. Most of the drivers were secular Israelis. And he put kippahs on them, and they prayed the evening service. And then he came outside after the evening service. He said, thank you very much. Let me look at the meter and check. Let me know what I have to pay each of you for coming. It was a very special thing that he did to try to make sure he had a minyan. He had the quorum of 10. Each of the secular Israeli drivers said, we refuse to take money from you. I hadn't been in a Beit Knesset. I hadn't been in the synagogue for so long, and the prayer was very meaningful to me. We helped you make a minyan. None of the 9 taxi drivers charged him for it. How could that be? They're in there for business. They came for work. They came for a pickup. But their spark was connected to. And they realized, wow, they helped make a minyan, and they prayed, and they didn't want to take the money. So we need to work hard not to cover our spark through our anger, through our busyness, through our lack of knowledge, and feed the spark by the Torah study and by prayer and by acts of loving kindness. And realizing even just the idea we have a holy spark that's untainted by any mistakes we may have made in the past, by any of our sins, by any of the wrong things we may have done. That part remains holy. It's pure. Connect to the spark, be aware of it, and feed it, and may it create a beautiful flame of holiness within our lives, within our families, within our communities, and within the entire world. We definitely need it. All the best. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Any thoughts or comments? Love to hear from you. Have a great Shabbos. Take care.